Thought I'd share a gift I just made for someone. I was shooting to create a bound journal with puzzles in it. And the reason is because this person that I made this album for loves puzzles, but I really can't get them to journal. And, you know, we're talking about why journaling is good and what's fun about it. I thought I'd add a special element for her to draw her to the idea of journaling. So I went online and I found these places where you can go and you can print out puzzles. And since she just is crazy about logic, word puzzles, you know, Scrabble, any kind of puzzle, after I printed them out, and I chose to print them out on cardstock, and this is the Naturals cardstock that I love because it has a nice texture in it. I like it a lot. After I printed it out, I said, okay, let me do some stamping on it, and I enjoyed stamping, but then I said, well, she'll probably want to sketch, you know, her thoughts. Like when you're doing logic puzzles, you have to remember kind of how you're thinking. So I said she's going to need scrap paper. So I went and I found this place that will print lined paper for you. So again, I put the same cardstock in on the other side, and this is the lined paper for the notes. And then I just started embellishing the lined paper. I stamped on it, I did some glittering, and I added that stamp that I love, Define Your Life. And there's so many stamps in that Define Your Life stamp set. I love it because I can put a different definition on each page. Even if I had 28 pages, I could get a different definition on each page from one stamp set, which is totally amazing. Well, I was loving this so much. And then I said, well, what about something pretty to look at? So I added some papers. So let me tell you how then I decided to make it a very custom album. I think this is like a pleather. It's like a vinyl that I had ordered as book cloth. I used that vinyl to cover a piece of mat board. But I etched the pieces of a puzzle into the cover to give it the theme of puzzles. So let me show you how the whole book turned out. I'll just page through it. Basically, the approach I took on this book was mostly, you know, adding papers of the colors that I know she'll love. And then in some cases adding, like in this one, pockets. Also decorating the papers. So like in this case, this paper right here, there's dazzling diamonds in the center of the flowers. And this just makes the image pop even more. I hate covering up these graphic 45 papers because they're so beautiful. So I found a way to fold it so that she could open it up and see the rest, the full 12 inches. Some of these images, like this particular, I think this is Renaissance, they're very deep images. So you can stare at them for quite a while. And just getting that attached right. This is a Tattered Angel stamp. It's huge. I love it. I don't think she would believe it was me who did it unless there was at least one butterfly, because I just love them. And then I took these puzzle pieces as a, you know, instead of putting flowers that the butterfly is trying to get, I put puzzle pieces that I stamped to keep it with the theme of the book of puzzles. And then I just kept stamping. Now, you'll note that there was a cartoon character here in the corner of all these logic puzzles. And so what I did was I covered up the the cartoon, because I didn't like it. It didn't go with the style of the book, with a reason that that person's wonderful. So each page, instead of having the cartoon character there, has a little "Why do I love you?" I've decorated all my lined pages with corresponding border snippets from that same paper pack. And then I used a lot of Stampin' Up! Rub-ons to help accentuate the pages so that they would be pretty while the puzzle is being solved. Just kind of add something special to the idea of doing puzzles. This is an 8.5 by 11 book, so it's large. I don't usually work in this size, so it's really cool to really show off the detail in this paper. And you'll see that I've actually added dazzling diamonds to her dress. but I've used a simple glitter pen, and you can see that the difference, it's more discreet, the glitter pen for the Eiffel Tower. These pages that are just full of paper, she could actually put photos there, or maybe news clippings, or maybe cheats, you know, because these sites that offer the games offer cheats. Maybe she'll stick a cheat on the page to help her get through the puzzle, or remember what the hints are for getting it right. Or she could just, you know, have it there. It's just pretty. Really enjoyed this project because what it does is it gets you to pull out all of your you know, things that you haven't used in a while and just kind of play. I love this stamp. It's a queen. It's a variety of products, so this book is not focused on any particular product. It's mostly focused on scraps. Like here's a scrap from my Tim Holtz paper pack. It was like the last paper in that pack left, and I just cut it 8.5 by 11 and put it in here. I love the way the random rub-ons look. They add color to the book. So use up your rub-ons, you know, for projects like this. Also, I'm going to show you why I love the way this book is bound. You'll notice that all my embellishments are intended to be flat. The reason being is you can flip it under, and now you can hold this book this way. And, you know, when you're sitting in your armchair and you're just working on the puzzle, this is a great way to be able to hold your journal. I would not be able to hold it this way and to write so comfortably if this had bulky embellishments. I was just so happy with how this turned out. It really made my day. And here's what happens when things like this happen and I end up really enjoying a project. It's really hard to give it away. You get really tempted to keep it. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. But you look at it and you go, wow, this is really awesome. I think I want this. So, and then you plan to make it for yourself and you never do. But I think I really want to make this for myself, something similar anyway. Because this one is very specific to her. There are things in here that are just her. Like you'll see at the end, I have a quiz on Jeff Gordon's life. Because she's a Jeff Gordon NASCAR fan. So that wouldn't be in my book. Maybe there'd be, I don't know, another kind of fan page for the people that are interesting to me. This page is awesome. So this was 6 by 6s, but I actually cut them out into an 8.5 by 11. And then again, I've done some dazzling diamonds on the page, like on the keyboard here. Texture, color, pop, bling, all that stuff. And glitter pens and dazzling diamonds are a way to do bling flat. Again, keeping in mind that this book is going to be used for writing. I hope this is a little ruler down here. So I did include some charms and another piece of canvas paper to add texture, but keeping it flat. So I was looking for ways to add texture, so I varied the type of papers I attached. Just love the way this turned out. So let me hurry up because I'm running out of time. Just totally loved it. Look at that flower. I don't think these rub-ons are still being sold, but I'll double check if they are. I'll give you a link to them. But these are wonderful Stampin' Up! Rub-ons, and they just help so much with this project. So this sheet is interesting that, again, I added the glitter to the Eiffel Tower, but I also used a black glaze pen and wrote over the text so that the text is slightly 3D and shiny. I did this, and this is just another pocket. I did the same thing on this page. I took that glaze pen and I colored all the black keys. You see how shiny and 3D they are? But they are not so 3D though that you couldn't lean on that page and write. This page is still flat so that if I folded this back and wanted to write freely, I wouldn't have any bumps. Just love the way this turned out. I'm in love with it and I think she's gonna love it. That's another page just showing off the graphic 45 bling. Another page with butterflies and puzzles instead of flowers. The Jeff Gordon questions. A couple of pockets at the end for her own little artwork. There's some watercolor paper in there. And then this really cool paper here that's completely stitched. So I enjoy sharing that with you. I think it's a great book. I'm so tempted to keep it, but I'm not going to.